The Persian Empire, a vast and powerful state that once spanned from the Indus River to the Mediterranean Sea, has left an indelible mark on the modern nation of Iran, where the ancient traditions and culture of the Persians continue to thrive. As noted by the ancient Greek historian, Herodotus, in his book, The Histories, written around 440 BCE, the Persian Empire was a complex and sophisticated society, with a system of governance, economy, and culture that was far ahead of its time. But when did this empire really come to an end? The history books tell us it was in 330 BCE, when Alexander the Great and his Macedonian army conquered Persepolis, the capital of the Persian Empire, as described by the Roman historian, Quintus Curtius Rufus, in his book, The History of Alexander, written in the 1st century CE. But is this really the whole story? Let's take a closer look at the intricacies of the Persian Empire's decline and the enduring legacy of its culture. In the 4th century BCE, the Persian Empire was the largest and most powerful empire in the world, with a vast network of roads, trade routes, and administrative systems that allowed it to maintain control over its vast territories. As described by the Greek historian, Xenophon, in his book, Cyropaedia, written around 370 BCE, the Persians were known for their tolerance and acceptance of different cultures and religions, and their empire was a melting pot of peoples from all over the ancient world. The air was thick with the smells of exotic spices and fresh bread, and the sound of merchants hawking their wares filled the air. But despite its greatness, the Persian Empire was not invincible. It had been weakened by internal conflicts and external pressures, such as the constant threats from the Greeks and the rising power of the Macedonians, and it was ripe for conquest. The once mighty empire was now vulnerable to the ambitions of its neighbors, and its people lived in a state of uncertainty and fear. And then Alexander came, a young Macedonian king with a vision of creating a vast empire that would stretch from Greece to India. He began his campaign against the Persians in 334 BCE, and over the next few years, he conquered a vast swathe of territory, including modern-day Turkey, Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, Israel, and Egypt. The Persians put up a fierce resistance, but they were ultimately no match for Alexander's army, which was trained in the latest military tactics and equipped with the latest technology. As described by the ancient Greek historian, Arrian, in his book, The Campaigns of Alexander, written in the 2nd century CE, the battlefields were filled with the sounds of clashing steel and the scent of blood and sweat. In 330 BCE, Alexander conquered Persepolis, and the Persian Empire was officially at an end. The city was left in ruins, its once magnificent palaces and temples reduced to smoldering rubble. The people of Persepolis were left to pick up the pieces and wonder what the future held. Or was it? The conquest of Persepolis was a significant blow to the Persian Empire, but it was not the end of the story. Many of the Persian satraps, or governors, continued to resist Alexander's rule, and some even established their own independent kingdoms. The Persian Empire may have been conquered, but its legacy lived on. And in fact, the Persian culture and traditions continued to thrive, even under Macedonian rule. As noted by the Greek historian, Plutarch, in his book, Life of Alexander, written in the 1st century CE, the Persians were skilled administrators and diplomats, and they were able to adapt to the new reality of Macedonian rule. The city of Persepolis, once the symbol of Persian power and prestige, was now a shadow of its former self, but its people continued to hold on to their cultural heritage. The smell of freshly baked bread and the sound of laughter and music filled the air, as the Persians continued to live their lives with dignity and pride. One of the most interesting examples of this is the story of the Seleucid Empire, which arose after Alexander's death in 323 BCE. The Seleucid Empire was a Greek empire, but it was heavily influenced by Persian culture and traditions. The Seleucids adopted many of the Persian customs and practices, and they even established a new capital city, Antioch, which was modeled on Persepolis. As described by the ancient Greek historian, Polybius, in his book, The Histories, written in the 2nd century BCE, the Seleucids were skilled diplomats and administrators, and they were able to maintain control over their vast territories through a complex system of governance and administration. The city of Antioch was a bustling metropolis, filled with the sounds of merchants and traders, and the smell of exotic spices and fresh bread filled the air. The Seleucids were also patrons of the arts and sciences, and they established a number of institutions of learning and culture, including the famous Library of Antioch. The library was a hub of intellectual activity, where scholars and philosophers came to study and debate the latest ideas and discoveries. And the Seleucids were not the only ones to be influenced by the Persians. The Parthian Empire, which arose in the 3rd century BCE, was a direct descendant of the Persian Empire, and it continued many of the Persian traditions and customs. The Parthians were a powerful and sophisticated people, and they played a significant role in the ancient world. They were known for their skilled horsemen and their advanced irrigation systems, and they established a complex network of trade routes that stretched from China to Rome. As noted by the Roman historian, Strabo, in his book, Geography, written in the 1st century CE, the Parthians were also skilled diplomats and administrators, and they were able to maintain control over their vast territories through a complex system of governance and administration. The word Parthian itself is derived from the Old Persian word, Parthava, which refers to the region of Parthia in northeastern Iran. The etymology of the word Parthian is closely tied to the history of the Parthian Empire, which was a major power in the ancient world. The Parthians were a proud and independent people, and they had a deep love of their homeland and their way of life. They were skilled farmers and herders, and they lived in harmony with the natural world. They were also skilled traders and merchants, and they established a complex network of trade routes that stretched from China to Rome. The Parthian Empire was a testament to the enduring legacy of the Persian Empire, and its culture and traditions continue to influence us today. But despite the continued influence of Persian culture and traditions, the Persian Empire itself was eventually forgotten. The ancient Greeks and Romans wrote extensively about the Persians, but their accounts were often biased and inaccurate. The Persians were portrayed as barbarians and tyrants, and their empire was seen as a symbol of despotism and oppression. It was not until the 19th century, when European scholars began to study the ancient Persian language and culture, that the true extent of the Persian Empire's greatness began to be appreciated. As noted by the French scholar, Ernest Renan, in his book, The History of the Persian Empire, written in 1859, the Persians were a complex and sophisticated people, and their empire was a major power in the ancient world. The discovery of the Behistun inscription, a trilingual inscription carved into the side of a mountain in western Iran, was a major breakthrough in the study of the Persian Empire. The inscription, which was carved in 520 BCE, tells the story of the Persian king, Darius I, and his conquests, and it provides a unique glimpse into the culture and traditions of the Persian Empire. And what they found was astonishing. The Persian Empire was a complex and sophisticated society, with a system of governance, economy, and culture that was far ahead of its time. The Persians were known for their tolerance and acceptance of different cultures and religions, and their empire was a melting pot of peoples from all over the ancient world. They were skilled architects and engineers, and they built some of the most impressive monuments of the ancient world, including the Palace of Persepolis and the tomb of Cyrus the Great. The Palace of Persepolis, with its intricate carvings and beautiful gardens, was a testament to the wealth and power of the Persian Empire. The tomb of Cyrus the Great, with its simple yet elegant design, was a symbol of the Persian king's wisdom and justice. The Persians were also skilled farmers and herders, and they lived in harmony with the natural world. They were skilled traders and merchants, and they established a complex network of trade routes that stretched from China to Rome. And at the heart of the Persian Empire was the concept of the Pax Persica, or the Persian peace. This was a period of relative peace and stability that lasted for over 2 centuries, during which the Persians established a complex system of governance and administration that allowed them to maintain control over their vast empire. The Pax Persica was a time of great cultural and economic achievement, and it saw the rise of some of the most famous Persian cities, including Persepolis, Susa, and Pasargadae. As noted by the ancient Greek historian, Herodotus, the Pax Persica was a time of great prosperity and growth, and it was marked by a number of significant cultural and intellectual achievements. The Persians made significant advances in fields such as mathematics, astronomy, and medicine, and they established a number of institutions of learning and culture. The city of Persepolis, with its beautiful gardens and intricate carvings, was a testament to the wealth and power of the Persian Empire during the Pax Persica. But the Pax Persica was not just a period of peace and stability. It was also a time of great cultural and intellectual achievement. The Persians were known for their love of learning and their respect for knowledge, and they established a complex system of education and scholarship that allowed them to make significant advances in fields such as mathematics, astronomy, and medicine. They were also skilled artists and craftsmen, and they produced some of the most beautiful and intricate works of art of the ancient world. The Persian Empire was a major center of learning and culture, and it attracted scholars and intellectuals from all over the ancient world. The city of Persepolis, with its beautiful gardens and intricate carvings, was a hub of intellectual activity, where scholars and philosophers came to study and debate the latest ideas and discoveries. And the legacy of the Persian Empire can still be seen today. The modern nation of Iran is a direct descendant of the Persian Empire, and it continues to be influenced by Persian culture and traditions. The Iranians are a proud and independent people, and they have a deep love of their homeland and their way of life. They are skilled traders and merchants, and they have established a complex network of trade routes that stretches from China to Europe. The city of Tehran, with its bustling markets and vibrant culture, is a testament to the enduring legacy of the Persian Empire. The smell of freshly baked bread and the sound of laughter and music fill the air, as the Iranians continue to live their lives with dignity and pride. But the legacy of the Persian Empire is not just limited to Iran. The Persians had a profound impact on the ancient world, and their culture and traditions can be seen in many different countries and civilizations. The Greeks and Romans were heavily influenced by Persian culture, and they adopted many of the Persian customs and practices. The Arabs and Muslims were also influenced by the Persians, and they adopted many of the Persian traditions and customs. As noted by the Arab historian, Ibn Khaldun, in his book, the Muqaddimah, written in the 14th century CE, the Persians were a major influence on the development of Islamic culture and civilization. The Persian Empire's legacy can be seen in the many beautiful mosques and palaces that were built in the Middle East and North Africa during the Islamic period. And the story of the Persian Empire is not just a story of conquest and decline. It is a story of resilience and survival, of a people who were able to maintain their culture and traditions despite the odds. The Persians were a proud and independent people, and they had a deep love of their homeland and their way of life. They were skilled farmers and herders, and they lived in harmony with the natural world. They were also skilled traders and merchants, and they established a complex network of trade routes that stretched from China to Rome. The Persian Empire may have been conquered, but its legacy lives on, and it continues to inspire and educate us to this day. In the end, the Persian Empire may have been conquered, but its legacy continues to thrive. The modern nation of Iran is a direct descendant of the Persian Empire, and it continues to be influenced by Persian culture and traditions. The Iranians are a proud and independent people, and they have a deep love of their homeland and their way of life. They are skilled traders and merchants, and they have established a complex network of trade routes that stretches from China to Europe. And as we look to the future, we can learn from the example of the Persian Empire. The Persians were a great and powerful people, and they left a lasting impact on the ancient world. Their culture and traditions continue to influence us today, and their story is a testament to the power of resilience and survival. The Persian Empire may have been conquered, but its legacy lives on, and it continues to inspire and educate us to this day. The smell of freshly baked bread and the sound of laughter and music fill the air, as the Persians continue to live their lives with dignity and pride. The legacy of the Persian Empire is a reminder of the importance of understanding and appreciating the cultures and traditions of other peoples, and it continues to be a source of inspiration and education for people all over the world. As the last remnants of the Persian Empire's grandeur faded into the sands of time, its legacy continued to shape the destiny of the region, a testament to the enduring power of ancient civilizations. Please subscribe, like, and comment your favorite fact below. What secrets lie hidden in the unexplored corners of Iran's ancient ruins, waiting to be uncovered in our next video?